noise begins, there is a moment of pure clarity. It is the ritual of preparation that separates the professional from the amateur. The calm before the decisive strike. Every movement is deliberate. Every action is calculated. There is no room for haste in the pursuit of legacy. He settles into the space, claiming it. The silence is not empty. It is full of potential. The focus now narrows. The global markets are a living, breathing entity, and he is listening to its heartbeat. Institutional wealth is built on the ability to see what others overlook, to find the signal within the noise. True authority doesn't need to shout. It manifests in the steady hand and the unwavering gaze. It's in the notes taken by hand, the physical connection to the strategy, where the complex becomes tangible. We are not just looking at numbers, we are looking at the architecture of the future. When the analysis is complete, the perspective must shift. One must step back to see the grand design. The transition from observation to execution is the moment of greatest risk and greatest reward. Here, the variables are weighed, the probabilities are measured, the conviction is solidified. Confidence is not the absence of doubt, it is the mastery of it through absolute preparation. He stands back, his presence filling the room, the master of his domain, ready for the opening bell. The time for speculation has passed. The time for the Liego Rifamo show is now. This is high-stakes finance. This is the new standard of institutional insight. Prepare yourself. The show is starting soon. In the depth of the market.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, traders and investors. Welcome to a Havoc stream today. I'm with my kids. It will be extremely Havoc. You'll hear a lot of background. But welcome, guys. Truly appreciate all of you. Let's trade together. And I'll go through all my trades that I have on the long term and look for opportunities for tonight. Pardon me for the noise. I'm parenting, I guess. So I know when I'll go again. Havoc few days for the US indices. We'll discuss a lot as we go along. However, it looks like it's been a very busy day in the market. So we're going to look for daily analysis. Then we'll go ahead for most important stuff. It looks like we are flipping a lot of things here. For technicals, when looking at S&P 500, I love that it held that support. So for that, I think I am happy. So I have no directional bias for tonight, but look at S&P 500 have taken holding this current resistant area. Tell that I honestly do not have any directional bias. I might maintain the overall bullishness from the AM session, um, or look for reversal after just taking that high. But it's very important for me just to ooh, okay. I'm seeing something here. Might be bullish. Might be bullish, but if it flips that, it literally changes everything. So when I have a turn now, no hormone left. At my limits, just for me to get biases, guys. S&P 500 looks like it's the weaker one. So if it flips, come retest that and give me an opportunity somewhere there around 7516, something like that. this will make sense for tonight. But really, you just have to be patient. So I'm just gonna add limits here. Just gonna add timers, and then we discuss other stuff that we have. So on the flip side, while waiting for that, long-term trading, what are you guys looking at? Nasdaq seem to be bouncing below that. Between this support, I don't have any buyers for Nasdaq for long term, but it seems like it's been happening so well. Today a lot has been happening in the indices side. Unfortunately, I think if you have watched the video that I posted earlier this week, I was looking for that support to hold. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. So I am off the mark that I missed this trade unless it comes back again for that retest back flat to where it was. Maybe then I'm gonna look for an opportunity to long. But the good thing is, oh, let me say that I am long. Need a percentage point. I am long. China 50. Ooh. Out. I'm up 4.8% on China 50, and my stop loss was just at 1.9, almost 2%. So I'm up almost 2:2. With the China 50, I'm waiting for that breakout retest there. And then if that break up, I'm gonna look to trail to secure. I don't know, everything is slowly, yeah. To secure for stop loss just to be below there. Secure profit, hoping that it's gonna continue for those highs. And I'm looking also to see if it's gonna break up and hold the overall highs there. So that is why um I'm still gonna continue holding. Creates a lower low. Once that happens, and then we're gonna look to trail on China 50. So far, it looks like a very solid trade. It looks like I'm smart, but honestly, I'm not. If you want to know where those trades are coming from and the ideas, yes. I was saying it looks like I'm smart, but honestly, most of these ideas are coming from the H finder top setup. And when you look at the H finder top setup, um, I have GU, which is bullish, and technicals, I have a bit bullish as well. The fundamentals are, but anyway, we're gonna go into one-on-one with it. But these are the only bullish stuff that we see when we look at H funder, and I'm interested in China 50 as I have taken a long trade on it. Um, so when you look at the H funder, technicals are bullish, that's why we're bullish. But something that has literally changed lately is manufacturing PMI. It's economic growth. They're a bit bullish. Inflation as well seems to be bullish for the China 50, including unemployment rate. So these are the only bullish stuff that currently we have forced our China 50 to be quite bullish. Hence, we took that trade. So the biggest question basically will be, can it break above this resistance area to hold above it to look for that kind of a move, or it will still continue to say reject from there, come back to the entry side? So that's something that I'm closely watching, but I'm anticipating that if we continue to tomorrow as a bull, if we continue tomorrow and just break, hold below that, I think for me that will be my cue to to secure profit, as I've not secured profit. If this goes south, this is our call. So that's what I'm looking for. And as I said earlier, unfortunately, I missed the trade on the US30, and a lot has been happening, but which I'll give an update on. Also, I was looking at Nikkei, but Nikkei is not bullish as yet in the top edge finder as my confirmation. So that is why I didn't take a trade there. But something that I've been watching closely as well, it's Japanese yen. Um, but for now, we are long UK 100. And then I think I have Forex. On Forex, I just went long. I just went long GU, and I will explain why I went long GU. But there's something weird happened. So I've taken a 600 rand loss here, and the reason being is um it's not a loss per se, but I opened a very huge position. I don't know if I was sleeping when or whatever when I added the limit, but I added a very huge position, which I had to close in a very okay loss. Okay. Then I reopened a proper position as I could have wished earlier on. So I'm holding that, which we'll see how it goes. And I'll explain why I've opened GU as well. Um, and then the one trade that I have, and I think the fundamentals have changed, but I've just secured profit. And I think that we've been discussing this with me for quite 2 weeks now. We seem to be we seem to be ranging, and we seem to be failing to hold, to break below the current resistant area. I mean, the current support on gold. So if I'm up 2% on gold, which really I would have loved for it to break below, but we seem to be holding that. There's a strong lot of buyers there, and I'm just seeing if I'll be taken out because the fundamentals either way have changed. We've seen inflation coming back down, which it's cooling, and that would be very hawkish for the Fed. They might not cut rates, so that's something that we should be looking at. Inflation is one thing that forcing gold not to be a very strong bear, and gold has been bearish for a while now. So I'm wondering if the bears will continue or not. So that's one thing that I am holding. And I think that's one. But anyway, looking the top edge fund, I don't know if another space that I'm looking for, I think I'm closely looking and see if we're gonna be holding that. Not gonna jump on yet. If it gives a good retracement to that support, maybe I can consider long on GJ because it's one of those currency pairs that are bullish. So those are basically things that I'm looking in terms of technicals, but we can discuss the H fund a lot of times and go through it over and over again. But to be fair and to be honest, it would be lovely if you were to look at its macros and decide where to next. And I think for me, I'm fairly neutral for now in terms of Euro USD. Top setup, I've engaged with you on the top setup. Let's just go through it and look at the technicals that we are looking for and that we are interested in that are of value to us. So on the bullish side, we've seen the British pound. Hmm, What should I do? Good Lord. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, I was saying the British pound seems to be quite strong, yeah, with the dollar catching the strains for weakness. Um, let's look at NZD USD as well and see if we can get any opportunities on that. But I'm mostly positioned for Forex. So we are holding that resistant area. So I think I'm interested in that. I know that's looking at that support. If it comes back there, I think I'm gonna closely monitor the space here. Gonna closely monitor that. Just gonna mark it and always marked on my radar. As I said, that seems to be my resisted point. Let's see if you're gonna break, but I'm gonna look for retracement lower for NZD USD, and if that happens, I'm gonna consider longing. So those are the only forex pairs that I'm really interested in. Uh, look for GBP AUD. This looks set to long here. I just don't know where my stop will be. I want to put my stop there, and that stop will be big. So I'm just seeing if it's gonna break and come back, retest this lows here. And if that happens, then maybe I will consider just gonna mark this as a different color so I know what I'm looking at. I'm gonna be looking at that area there. And if that happens, perhaps in the morning when I look at pre-market, I'll look at that if GBP British pound against the Australian dollar, it has retraced to that point. That's 1.90177 as a reaction point for support, and then I'm gonna consider longing it from there. If that doesn't happen, then I'm good with China 50 and gold as my current positioning. So last week COT data, like I'm really interested in seeing what the COT data reported is from last week, and looking at the COT data, we have seen overall change of closed a lot of long and short contracts on Nikkei with a net bullish change of 6%, and Dow Jones also a net long positioning as well that has occurred. Interestingly, British pound has gained a lot of value from last week to this week, and what we see is uh, they've closed a lot of short contracts on British pound, which about 10,000 short contracts were closed, and open about 6,000 long contracts. That's about a 4.2% change in positioning when you look at institutional positioning, a weekly institutional position, which is COT data, which for me, and these are the only thing that I am bullish on, that's a very interesting phenomenon. And on the other side, we have seen the dollar, I mean, the South African rand and the Aussie dollar being the one that is mostly sold. That's something about the COT data that I love when I look at the COT data. Um, yeah, anyway. Uh, Um, so looking at UK economic heat map and economic parameters, the latest one is unemployment rate, um, which the forecast was 4%, came out at 4.9%. That's a very good data, and that was quite bullish for the currency itself. These are the latest numbers that we've seen. But as for the US, we've seen inflationary coolings, but that doesn't change the fact that overall the institution might still be uh, bearish. But we have seen good reaction tonight, and I think it's fair to state. So, so we have seen. How do I put this right? Let's look at the semiconductor ETF before maybe when I speak about. Let's look at the semiconductor ETF. What frustrating me is we've been looking at this position to say I will buy the semiconductor there. Guess what I did? I didn't buy. I didn't buy. Yeah, I don't know where I was focusing. I was not focusing. But we've seen a very good bounce in semiconductor ETF there. And doesn't matter where you look at, but the semiconductor ETF is showing a rebound. And the thing I was also wanted to show you NVIDIA. NVIDIA is just as flat as its counterparts, but really I am more interested in these ranges. But the semiconductor ETF has rebounded beautifully, and so I think the indices and the positiveness, I think they're coming in just from the semiconductor, and also today we've seen that there's been an on and off discussion with a ceasefire in the US. What's interesting is within this ceasefire, um, oil prices are still trading about up for about 2% today. And could we get a ceasefire? I'm contemplating long term just to short, just looking at shorting oil there to look for this low prices. But I don't know. Um, you have time. A negotiator. When? When? So oil prices, I think this would be a decent place to look for, starting to look for shorts for oil prices, but I'm not gonna do that. So overall, that's what has been happening. Um, so overall, here's my thing. Overall, this is just a repositioning on the semiconductors after everyone assumed that semiconductors has been oversold. I mean, has been oversold with a lot of analysts calling the with a lot of analysts calling the tops in semiconductors, and then primarily the US and Iran de-escalation to say we're gonna reposition ourselves into an overall risk on positioning, and not necessarily that there's new really fundamentals that have changed. Lately, we are slowly looking into NFP to see what NFP has in an overall market. But what we had yesterday today was UK, as I did, unemployment rate came out soft for the UK, and we've seen that reaction in the British pound. That's one thing which it was lovely to see. So yeah. So back to overall day trading. So nothing which has happened on the day trading side unless it is broken out where I wanted it to break out, but not the way I wanted. So I'm not even gonna attempt taking the trade. I'm just gonna be watching. Gonna remain disciplined here. Remain disciplined. We've broken below the previous support. Is there possibilities for us holding? Yes. Is there possibility for us giving us a good directional bias? If that happens, I am gonna look for that low as my target, I think, for tonight. If that allows, I'm gonna do that. If it doesn't allow, I'm gonna sit out for tonight. I think that's my idea. Be just watching. Sometimes you gotta watch. So let me see if there's any comments. Today I didn't check for any comments from you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any comments coming from you? Peter Mayer, good evening, brother. Yeah, I think there was Peter Mayer coming through. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, just look at my Facebook and YouTube. I do post ideas that I have, and unfortunately, I'm not as aggressive as I could have wished, but I wish to start being aggressive on it. To be more consistent every morning, to have a pre-market trade idea that I'm looking at together with you. Remember, I'm not taking that trade yet. That can hold, by the way. So I'm just going to be sitting on it, water. So this is a move that I'm looking for. Move. Do you know that they're recorded? So I'm just waiting to see if for the next 5 minutes that will look, can it hold, close below, create another low? Perhaps if that could happen, maybe, really maybe a move like this, it's on the card for me. Um, but I just want to see what's gonna happen there. Yes, one can argue for this 5 minute support, yeah. Just gonna mark that as well. Just gonna mark these two areas here. See, so the next 10, for another 5, if the other 5 does what I want, I'm gonna look for a move like that. For sure, the 1 minute has confirmed everything. The 1 minute will say enter shorts there. So if you're brave enough, and I think, let me do this. That's a decent trade. I think I'm gonna jump on this one. Should have entered on market, but it's fine. This is a trade that you enter on markets. Sometimes I become stupid. I hate, oh, flip. Nothing. I just didn't enter a trade where I wanted it to enter. This could be a trade missed, by the way. So add a limit rather. Just wanted to enter on market. The danger, oh no. Ah, trust. Yeah, I missed a beautiful trade, by the way. Uh, do you cry with me because I decided to enter a limit instead of market price? Wow. Okay, I'm done. Okay, I'm done. I don't think this will come back to my position. But it's fine. Let's wait outside until further notice. But this will be a trade that I would have wanted. And I'm not gonna enter there. Let's see how the 5 closed. 2. Okay, it's fine. I'm gonna add my limit. Yes, 2 also seem to have really left without me. So it hurts nyan, but I gotta try my luck and hold on. Unless it comes back and tap that low, then there's no opportunity for me.
So next, because it's my turn to press the next. It's my turn to press next. Oh.
Holding that support. Held that. Does not reach that low. Maybe we can get a rejection move, and this kind of rejection move will get me into the trade. That's something to consider.
Wait. I'm gonna win. You fast. You fast. Okay, wait. Me. Very fast. Get up.
Another rejection. Oh, sucks. Okay, I don't think I'll be entered on this trade. I don't think I'll get another opportunity to be entered on this trade. If this enters me, I'm entered, but it seems to be very aggressive bulls. I'm on a trade. But for how aggressive it went up, let me go get water for my sanity. Now we seem to be rejecting and push it back up, um, which is something that sometimes you feel like you don't want to see, but um, So I'm looking at these two ranges.
Bye-bye.
So the market can go either way, by the way.
That's it, guys.
The move I've been waiting for has happened, but now I want it to reject. Can give me a decent enough reject. Oh no. And I don't think this will hold. 5 minutes didn't do exactly what I wanted, but the 1 minute seemed very good and interesting, so that is why I went short. Be back now. Um, we have gotten rejection, which I don't like. We seem to be holding the previous green support that I drew, and I don't think the trade will hold up for long. We might take a loss here. If we do, we're gonna call it a day. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and also go through my Facebook where I write my long-term trading articles. We seem to be out in a few. I am so it's basically playing with my stop loss. Yeah, I am out. That was it. Let's see if I've made any mistake with this trade today. Um, as we discussed it earlier on, and this, nope, I didn't make any mistakes. Chances that I'll have marked that as literally a break of structure lower to look for continuation shots, and that did not happen. And the only possibility that's next today, if I were to take another trade, for which I doubt it's a break above that high. I doubt that I will want to take any other trade today because I wouldn't be. Yep, I think I'm happy. Ooh, look at that 5. That's a proper rejection on the 5 minutes time frame. Yeah, that held up. Ooh, okay. Honest opinion. Hmm. Held that 5, which it looked like it wants to get the continuation of that to go for that high. A very strong day to day for indices. If it breaks above that high, maybe it will give me an opportunity. I don't think I'll want to take any other trade tonight because if I do, will be a nonsense of a trade. I'm just talking to the trade. That's a solid trade. Wow. Okay. Look at that 2 minute support. Anyway, some gotta sit out sometimes. I think I'm gonna call it a night early. Yeah, please do check uh my Facebook. Sorry for not answering your questions. I sometimes get busy. I'm with my kids around, yeah. But I do have Facebook as Le'ahor Former Capital. Check that out. I have my long-term article written there, what I'm looking for. And I think I'll be releasing something with that will explain the China 50 index. Also, that will explain why I'm deciding to go long on GU and why I moved to break even on gold. because the fundamentals are changing. Might even record a video for that. And yeah, that, yeah, check out the Facebook and TikTok as well. And then you'll see us there where we discuss a lot. But another bad day today. I'm gonna go back to long-term trading, then record a video while explaining life on this TikTok. I think that also helps with an overall understanding of what I want to do. So basically, this is a trade. It looks nice. It looks like I'm a genius, man. When a trade does this, it makes you look like a genius. I mean, look like you predict the market like a genius. But honestly, just jumped on by the help of the H finder. And that's it. I'm also long here, which is quite flat for now. But really, it looks like I'm a genius. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So I'm going to hold this trade, which I'm up quite a big amount, to be honest, compared to my average earnings. So need to start being more aggressive. I need an aggressive account that I'll be watching and that I'm planning on having. And I'm looking into stocks as well. It's just lazy to start working on them and my reports. But yeah, give me a few minutes and get water. When I'm done getting water, I'll just quickly record that video that will explain everything, but I'll have an article on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook, and we discuss it. Okay, hold on for me. So I'm holding the China 50 index, which looks like a solid trade so far. And the trade overall is coming from the H finder, and I think I have discussed the H finder quite a few times and how it assists me getting this kind of trade. So we can just quickly browse through it and look at what we have seen. And the first thing that we could look at is the top setup, which looked at technical economic growth, looks at the overall macros and the fundamentals of a specific country. It gives a scoring, and we use that scoring to determine if an index is bullish or bearish, and then from there I'll have to take a decision based on technical. So if you look at the China 50, it's a +8. Let me just quickly go to asset score and show you exactly where the overall +8 scoring are coming from and why I just decided to swiftly move to take longs on support. So when you look at the China 50, yes, the technicals are bullish, which is nice. You look at the economic growth in terms of PMI and PMIs and retail sales over month, which was quite good. That's bullish. Inflation is just about 1%, which is a slight. Now the forecast was 1.1, and we got a 1.0. And then unemployment rate also, it was just came down by 0.10%. Then overall, when you look at the H finder score, it's a +8, technicals a 3 plus, because overall technicals are quite solid for China 50 longs. And then the fundamentals are a +5, coming in from the economic growth. It seems to be very solid and good economic growth coming in from China currently, and overall it gave a plus. And overall it gave a plus what do you call a +8. Then I went back to look for technicals. So on the technical side, uh, we have seen for the couple of few days, we've seen China 50 rejecting almost on the 14,453 point, roughly 79 point area, but on that overall area of support. That's where we have been rejecting on China 50. And I marked my support and immediately went towards that support. We decided to execute longs with a stop loss a -2% of my account, and so far I am up about 4%. And the next direction for me is to look for a break above that high and look for such a move, to look for a continuation higher. And if that happens, then I'm gonna trail my stop to secure about 4% profit in this trade. Which, oh, look at that. Which overall, I think I've said this, and I'm recording this while I'm live. It's looks nice. It looks like I can predict the market. And when things are like this, it looks like you're a great trader. Overall, I've taken quite a few losses, but overall, with this trade, it's been my strongest trade lately since we've seen indices being flat for the couple of days. Again, I was looking at uh, the Dow Jones, which is Dow Industrial. I didn't take it because the H finder, and we've discussed the H finder already, has not given me any bias towards it. And something that has given bias is it's the British pound against the dollar. I am bearish for the dollar. I am bullish for the British pound. I've went long there. Something funny and stupid that I did was I firstly opened a position here using a very big leverage at a very big size. I was not aware, and as the day unfolded, then later on, after I came back and I look at this, I'm like, hey, such a big loss. And I was just slightly on the drawdown. I closed that, reopened a position on a good amount size. But overall, I'm flat for the day. Just hoping that GU holds that support. And if you want to look at why I decided to long there, The H fund, I think, explained it very nicely. Just gonna go to Forex scorecard, and we look at why and the fundamentals behind why British pound it's quite strong. British pound overall, we're also getting a +8. When you look at the technicals, are very bullish. You can't deny that overall technicals have flipped bullish. COT weekly change, it is bullish. I think we got a weekly a lower change. I mean, a flat change in the US weekly unemployment claims. Sentimental bias, retail sentiment is bearish, which makes which it says the crowd are also bullish with me. Normally, that will be and vice versa. But anyway, the economic growth as well, it's bullish. The +4, which is a very solid British pound. Economists seem to be doing quite well. And the inflation data, it's also bearish. Labor market, it's flat. So we're getting a +8 overall bias. And I think while discussing that, it's fair for me to also look at the UK economic heat map because it's of interest. Because today we had a UK unemployment rate, which the forecast was 5.0, and we got a 4.9%, which was a surprise of a minus 0.1%. That is why it seems quite bullish compared compared to a dollar, compared to the US dollar, compared to a US dollar where the latest inflation data we forecast 3.8% when we got the 3.5%, which is a surprise of minus 0.3%. And overall, when also PPI, we forecast at 6.2 and we got a 5.5, which was quite a miss in inflation data, which kept the Fed a bit more restrictive compared to what we were last month. We're a bit restrictive. Um, I mean, keep the Feds more relaxing where we're not saying there will be rate cuts, but they're saying inflation is coming down. With inflation coming down, what you could see, and really what you could see inflation coming down, and today we heard that um, we know the story of China and Iran. Yeah, ceasefire, no ceasefire, ceasefire, no ceasefire. That tends to confuse that, but like practically looking at the macros, inflation was a very big change in the scoring overall to get us to a +8. And the technicals, looking at that, the technicals, we've been bearish for the couple of months, for the past 3 months on GU. And when we immediately flipped, I decided to go long on that support and see if the long will hold. And the last one, I think that we're gonna discuss for this video. Do not forget to like and subscribe. The last one that we're gonna discuss on this video, and I think I'll also put up an article on YouTube about it. I mean on Facebook and TikTok, and some mini report article that I normally write on my Facebook and TikTok. If you wanna get that, do not forget to check it out on Esli Ahorfum on Facebook and TikTok. So it's Liagor for more in my native language, but normally people that are speaking they say it Liago. Liago for more capital. Anyway, um gold with inflation coming in, who gold gave us a very we got a continuation lower, but look, gold, it's no longer part of my top setup, right? And if it's not part of my top setup, because the fundamentals have practically changed, and the conclusion of me saying the macros have changed is looking at inflation and a possible ceasefire coming through in within the geopolitics de-escalation, was to say we're gonna start to see inflation coming down, and the Feds, when inflation is coming down, there's ceasefire, possible for higher inflation are not really as aggressive, and we've seen the Feds might be more relaxing, might not get rate hikes, and we've seen gold trying to push to the upside. With that, I've moved my stop loss to break even. I have de-risked, trying to see if we're gonna break below the current support. We've been holding that support for quite a while now, been retesting that support and rejecting from that support. I am more interested to see if this support is a support that will hold overall. But if we're to look at this, we seem to have broken below. I don't know how you want to mark your trend line, but we've seen to be broken above the trend line that has been there, and there's this line that I've marked as an intermediate or near-term uh, support. And if that breaks again, we're gonna be taken out on the break even, or we're gonna get the usual. It rejects back to retest that, and eventually we're gonna break below that. And I think if we start to see gold breaking below that, maybe coming in the next month, is either you're gonna get a very bad NFP data, or possible, I mean, a very strong NF. What am I saying? If we get a very strong NFP data, will depend on the market direction. Because might take that as inflationary, and if they take that as inflationary, we might break below that. Interesting. And also looking at next month inflation data, also will it be coming out? So we're really in a decisive phase in terms of technicals for gold, and this is where I think my decisive phase are for gold. So these are the only three that I'm really holding for now, and I think that's a quick update of the current positioning that I have, which are looking good, by the way. For the first time in a while, I have three positions. Two of those are beautiful. Sorry about that. So thank you so much for join. Thank you for so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And this will be posted in the morning. And I truly appreciate all of you. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Let's get to 200 subscribers. And let's see if you're gonna like our YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok for articles and long-term trading ideas. Very soon, stocks to be coming in that. Other than that, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you, and see you tomorrow.